Hey everybody, how we doing today? Mark Lozano here, Christ Center Capital. You guys know the whole spiel. Um, I wanted to make a video today addressing the topic of why I chose moral investing as pretty much my hill to die on. Sorry if you guys hear my voice. It's definitely been fluctuating a little bit, going in and out. But I'm going to try and get through this one. But the hill I chose to die on with my moral convictions was investing. And that's because investing's always been a passion of mine. It's something that I've done for a living. It's something that uh, has provided for my family. And it's something that I actually have some knowledge about. And more importantly, I realized once I had my conversion to Christianity and becoming a Christian, I realized how important investing is when it comes to the culture in which you live. So I think investing, and this is just me being honest, I think investing is the number 2 way you can impact society and culture. The number 1 way is the family dynamic, the way you raise your kids, right? That's the number 1 way. I mean, it's kind of that living by example way. How we operate as a family, how we live by example, how we raise our children and raise our families. That's the number 1 way you can impact the culture and society, right? And this goes for however you want to impact the culture. It's not just talking about, hey, I want to impact the culture for the kingdom of God, or I want to impact the culture for transgender ideology, or I want to impact the culture for a race relation, whatever it is, whatever your cause is, the number 1 way you do that is by raising children to take on those values, right? And then kind of be plentiful and multiply. So the family dynamic, always the number 1 way to impact the culture. But, and I think most people would agree with me there, I think the number 1 or the number 2 way that you impact the culture is through investing. And people are like, that's coming out of left field. Like, what are you talking about? Like, there's so many different other ways that you can donate money, you can, protest, you can start petitions, you can riot in the streets, and that's all good and well. Like, some of those times those things are needed, and sometimes those things have a great effect. But I'll tell you this: money makes the world go round. And that's a harsh truth, but it is a truth. The world we live in is ruled by the enemy, is ruled by Satan, and money makes it go around, right? That's the fact of the matter. Now, some people say, well, then why don't you donate money to certain places and this? And you should donate money. Like, I'm all about giving back to the church. I'm all about giving to noble causes and worthwhile causes. But a lot of times when you give that money, in some ways, I'm not going to say in all ways, in some ways it dissipates. It vanishes after that. When you invest money, it has life to it after the fact. And major corporations, governments, they care deeply about how the public invests money. Because how the public invests, and to a lesser extent spends money, is really how a government can control the public. How major corporations and conglomerates and monopolies can control the public. And we have this beautiful opportunity in the stock market, in this modern era of money and investing. And I say modern, I know most people weren't alive, or no one was really alive before the stock market exists that's watching this video. But in human history, it's very, very new. Literally blink of an eye kind of new, of money not being a barren asset. Now, a barren asset, back to the Middle Ages and stuff, like no one was really, if you took out a loan, you were in debt for the rest of your life. There's no way of getting out of it. Like money was something that you either used to exchange for food, or it was, it was essentially useless. Money is not a barren asset anymore. You can invest it, it can grow, it can have life to it. And now we have this market, this investing market, to where we can put our money to things that not only does the money have life after it, but that money can speak to our values. Say you believe that cryptocurrency is the future and you don't want to rely on government fiat currencies, and you think decentralization is really, really good, and you can take your money and put it there and promote it essentially by putting your money there, and hopefully that can snowball your values. Now, that may be your values, that may not be, but that times, times 10, when you talk about the stock market, like you see a company, you have the ability to invest in that company and help it to grow in power and influence. You can invest in that company and you can help that company grow in power and influence, whether it's good or bad. Maybe, and a lot of people, they don't really care whether it's good or bad. They just think, is it going to give me a profit? Am I going to get a good ROI off of this? And that mindset is not how investing impacts the culture. It is how, for your own sake, it is how investing impacts the culture through those major corporations and the government by pushing certain assets to the forefront and promoting them and bolstering them up and advertising them to people to where like, oh yes, I'm going to invest into Apple so I can get a good ROI. But there's this opportunity to where, say you're a Christian, which you probably are if you're watching this video, and you want to impact the culture to become more Christian. Now, as Christians, we're probably not supposed to have that mindset of go save the world. It's more of evangelize souls, but those two overlap a lot. We can get into probably theological debates there and everything, but those two pretty much overlap. And if you want to create a more Christian culture to evangelize more souls, then you can look at the major companies that are on that stock market and say which one of them are supporting the common good. Which one of those companies are using their donation dollars or using their the funds and the capital they receive to promote causes or issues that you agree with. Now, there's not too many bluntly Christian companies that exist on the stock market, but there are good companies. There's more bad than good, of course, but there are some good companies that you could let your money, the thing that makes this corrupt world go round, speak for your values. And in addition to it all, when you invest into a company, you therefore have a voice in that company. Maybe you only have one share of a ginormous company that has millions of volume being traded every day, or maybe you are a wealthy person, you have a lot of shares of a company and you actually have a very big voice. Either way, you have a voice. You can participate to some extent in that company when you have that share. And maybe it's a bad company that you want to influence for good, or maybe it's a good company you want to continue to support and promote. So we think about investing strictly as ROI, return on investment. What are we going to get financially in return? But I would challenge you as a Christian to start thinking about investing as how you can truly impact the culture, how you can truly impact our society for the betterment of the kingdom of God. Because I think it can be done through the world of investing. I think if you take money away from the nefarious players, you give money to those players that are promoting the common good, you become an active investor, you start using your voice as well as your dollar in tandem, working together as a team to impact companies and culture and society. I think of enough Christians really, really become passionate about this, that some major change can take place. And maybe this is a pie in the sky dream of mine. And yeah, maybe it is, but this is kind of that hill I chose to die on. I mean, I went from being very financially secure to being in debt and funding this message myself out of my own bank account. And it's because I feel that strongly about it. I don't charge money for the Christ Center Capital site anymore. Or there's no real revenue generators. I think we just started a Shopify site so you can buy a t-shirt or something. But I've done all this because I believe that the way you invest matters. And the way you invest is the indicative of the culture you create. Secular investing will create a secular culture. Passive investing will create a passive society. Christian investing, active Christian investing, will create a Christian culture. But please just give that some thought. Pray on it. Let me know what you think. Go check out ChristCenterCapital.com for some cool stock analysis and moral underwriting of investments. And yeah, very interested in to hear your thoughts. And I hope that there's some people out there that'll become as passionate as I am about this. God bless, and thanks for listening.